Time for this week's Political Spotlight, and joining me to shine a light live from Sweden, Eurovision is tonight, but some fear that the camp spectacle is already marred in controversy. Many people are calling for Israel to be booted out of the competition due to the ongoing conflict in Gaza, and the website states that peaceful protest is allowed and that they are firm advocates for freedom of speech and the right for people to express their deeply held views and opinions. Joining me is GB News reporter Charlie Peters to shine a light. Charlie Peters, you're there. You got a nice free trip to Sweden. Is the weather nice there?
Well, it's turned a bit here in Malmö in southern Sweden as a pro-Palestinian protest makes its way from the town centre towards the arena where Eurovision will be hosted tonight. Behind me you can see some smoke flares that have been set off by the protesters here as a banner that says "Glitter doesn't hide genocide" makes its way, organised by Queers for Palestine, a protest group here. They have argued that Israel is organising a genocide in its war in Gaza. This has been a claim made by several people calling on Israel to be banned from the Eurovision Song Contest. Eden Galan, the act who will be performing tonight for Israel, went through on that semi-final 2 nights ago with a significant chunk of the vote. She has reportedly been stuck between her hotel room and the arena due to security fears, with protesters also gathering not just here in the city centre, but also outside where she's staying. The head of Shin Bet, the Israeli version of MI5, has reportedly flown in personally to Sweden to monitor her security situation, which is a significant step. At the same time, today Eurovision has fallen into chaos. Earlier today, the Dutch contestant was disqualified from the event. The first time this has happened in Eurovision history, a disqualification on the day of the grand final. That brought down the number to 25 contestants after an alleged incident on Thursday evening. Further, we've also seen some stark comments by other contestants today in the final dress rehearsal. The French performer paused midway through his song to deliver a speech about peace. The motto of this Eurovision competition this year is "United by Music." But it's clear that many people here do not feel as though that is occurring. We've also heard from the Irish contestant who said that they were very concerned about comments made towards them on the Israeli broadcaster and urged some investigation into that situation. And finally, in Norway, the person who was meant to be doing the jury votes for the Norwegian public broadcaster has announced in the last few hours that they will not be carrying out that role. So with just a few hours before Eurovision starts, and as pro-Palestinian protesters march towards that arena, it's clear that as 160 million prepare to tune in, Eurovision is in chaos.
Eurovision is supposed to be a cheerful, happy occasion where it was set up to unite Europe and set up to be a unifying force. It appears to have turned into almost political ridiculousness. I mean, this is about a war that has happened because of an incident that happened on October the 7th. And Israel has a right to defend itself. I'm not saying that they're right to whatever they're doing, but it just seems wrong, especially the notion that Queers for Palestine. I mean, Palestine I don't think is very welcoming to homosexuals, so I just find it very odd. But Charlie, have you managed to speak to some of the people there, and are you hearing what their thoughts are? Because a lot of these people are totally ill-educated on the situation there.
It's many of the standard pro-Palestinian chants you might hear on marches around the world, in particular in London, of course, where this has been occurring every other weekend since October the 8th, when many protesters first gathered after that Hamas attack on southern Israel. The march here has drawn to a close in terms of the end of its march in the city centre. It will now continue to the main arena where the competition is taking place. Now, as you said, there's been a concern about political involvement in Eurovision. This is meant to be a non-political event. It's about music, united by music being the motto. But Eurovision has always had to tread carefully with politics in the past. And indeed, 2 years ago, the competition, the EBUs, the organiser, the European Broadcast Union, did remove Russia from the competition after its full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Many critics of Israel say that because that precedent has been set, Israel should also be removed from the competition. By contrast, supporters of Israel have said that actually Israel was responding to Hamas on October the 7th, and that Israel is the Ukraine in this situation, not the other way around. So those contested views very much being heard here. We spoke to some Israelis earlier today. I have to say, very few Israelis gathering today. Many more pro-Palestinian protesters here in Malmö in southern Sweden. So just a few hours to go now until the competition gets away in earnest. The grand final, with so much chaos in that final dress rehearsal. What can we expect tonight in the actual 160 million view global performance?
Do we have any idea who are the hot favourites to win tonight?
Well, the Dutch performer with his song Europa was put down as a fan favourite, but with his disqualification, that has thrown more agitation and uncertainty into the scenario here. The Croatian performer is set to be a fan favourite, and Israel, actually, Eden Galan's performance is currently on the betting odds second place. By contrast, Ollie Alexander for Britain is currently being shown at 1% chance of victory tonight for Great Britain.
So what do you think? It's nil points for Britain then. And have you had a chance to watch Ollie Alexander's entry?
Sorry, Nan, I didn't quite catch
I said, have you had a chance to watch our entry, Ollie Alexander, Great Britain? Have you had a chance to look at it?
Yeah, I have, and I think he's a fantastic performer. I think he's going to be received very positively here. But the overshadow across all the music, unfortunately, for many Eurovision fans, isn't that the songs are centre stage. It's all about the political protests surrounding the concert. People aren't focusing on the music here. It's not united by music, many critics are arguing. Instead, it's a big focus on a war in the Near East.